a fine and promising sign. Oh, look, it's the game. The game is here. Very cute menus too. Like lots of check out all these like details, just like with the paper style. The way things just sort of like you get the little animations. Very good. Anyway, I think I already checked the option screen. I don't think there's really anything I need to change. Obviously, we're just gonna take it full story. It is interesting to me. I wonder. I feel like sometimes when you look at menu options when you're starting a game, it isn't like quite clear what they mean. Sometimes you can be in fall, sometimes you can be in winter. I mean, presumably this game is called First Snow, so perhaps we will be going from fall to winter. We'll find out. But then, I mean, keybinds, I assume standard visual novel stuff where you're just gonna be doing, you know, advanced text or skip text or screenshot or whatever. So, seems pretty standard to me, I assume. I'm not an expert. Folks, I'm not experienced with visual novels. You'll have to let me figure things out. But yeah, I'll probably stick with all the standard stuff. I'm curious how these would work though, but maybe another time. We'll go for the vanilla experience. Let's start a new game here. The first snow of the year should be a comforting sight, yet this carries a different feeling when so far from home. Alright, my cursor is on screen. Winter has always been my favorite time of the year, but the joy of warm fires and upcoming holidays is missing. There's only a month left to go until the season begins in earnest, but I can't feel any of the usual excitement. The coming winter will be the first I've spent away from my family after all. It's just me now, standing alone on a concrete balcony and looking out onto a gray sky. Hey Allison, aren't classes soon? Oh my god. Are classes soon? Shoutouts to shoutouts to all the people who are dealing with educational stuff right now, both teachers and students. But not shoutouts to all the administrators that are trying to get students and teachers to go back into classrooms right now. Yeah, pre-COVID storylines here. A woman sparking from down below breaks me out of my thoughts. Her familiar figure, clad in leather, stares up, snow heaped on the rusted shovel in her hands. Looks like the heating's died again. The inside of the apartment no warmer than out there. This new home might be a little shabby, but at least it's ours. Very cozy. Look at all the... just trying to... I always feel like... especially, I think, in video games, too. You know, when you get the chance to look into, like, the character's home, lots of times you can see really fun details. Posters, you know, obviously, traditionally a fun thing. Gun. Hitman. Base. Also, Tube TV. That's me. The nerd here who's like, but what displays are they using? Your roommate Adam Neely, base. So basically we've confirmed that these are Smash Melee players. A quick glance at my phone as I walk to get my coat and bag confirms her to be right. The morning's message from a friend still showing on the screen. The idea of big news at this of all times fills me with worry. I'm already too busy just trying to keep up with my new life. Oh, okay, so is this... perhaps these are messages from old friends or family. With time marching on, I quickly slip the phone back into my coat and set off for the stairs. I shouldn't have a problem making it to class if I keep a good pace. The busily shoveling woman is still working away, her efforts obvious to see. The snowfall's been impressive for a single night, but a good amount's already been cleared, her heavy breathing easily visible in the cold air. Tell you later. In bio, in my Twitter bio, that's right. No, these people aren't going to biology class, they're going to... a Twitter bio class. Keeping a brisk pace, as much to get to my classes on time as it is to try and warm myself up, I try to wave a quick goodbye. It's obvious she won't let me go without giving her 2 cents, though, as she puts her shovel against the wall and takes a good stretch. Morning, Rose. Working hard already? Someone's got to do it. Not like those useless lumps will. Who's doing the motorcycle in snow? Who are you? I see you back here with your motorcycle on the street, and I'm worried about you. Rose jerks her head towards the apartments. She's not really wrong, but her usual tactlessness is on full display. Okay. You all bundled up? Looks like winter's coming early, going by the paper. I'll be fine. Don't worry. Just take it easy on the way there, all right? I will. A weak smile is her response as I start off down the road. She knows that I'm right. This is hardly the first exchange we've had like this. Every other morning, Rose comes up with something or another to definitely not be concerned about. I don't mind, though. That kindness is one of her better traits. So I guess Rose must be like our landlord or something, or just like a older sister figure. Probably landlord. But like nice landlord. The mythical nice landlord. The weather's been getting steadily colder for a while now. The few workers braving the morning chill are slowly making their way down to the bus station for work. Those staying behind grumbling as they shovel snow from the roofs of their cars and their driveways. Yeah, reminder, folks, it is illegal to drive your car without clearing the roof first in the state of New Jersey. So please don't drive around with snow. That would fall off and hit other cars. That would be rude. There aren't many students down this way as I walk, however. Student accommodation filled up fast, and the nearby apartments were all rented out soon after that. Thank goodness for a family friend offering to let me live with them. Helpful as Rose may be, there is still some sense of being a foreigner. It's only been 2 months since I moved in and started classes at college. My circle of high school friends and boisterous family home turning overnight to a cramped apartment shared between Rose and I. Okay, so Rose is a family friend. As the school buildings come into view, I join the tired... Give me your tired masses. I join the tired masses staggering through the gates and towards their classes. Much as I might worry, I know I'm not alone. I'm sure many of the students around me right now are going through exactly the same thing. It's only now that I realize I haven't had my usual morning coffee back at the apartment to wake myself up. With little time before biology class starts, I'll have to content myself with a quick can of soda from the vending machine. Heading over to the Union Building on the way to class, the morning chill has driven away the usual gaggle of those sitting on the stairs and blocking the entrance. Rubbing my hands together to summon some warmth, I head on in. Drink. I mean, see, this is like a great thing about like the universality of video games. Is that even like it doesn't matter. Violent first person shooter, RPGs, visual novels, whack ass soda machines. They're always here. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's the official account for Dr. Okay, I see. All right, well. Salty Studios. All right, very good. With the heating being cranked right up, you could almost forget it's winter outside. My relief doesn't last long, however. I should say that this is correct. I went to college in Rochester, New York, which is, you know, a colder place. And I would like my general attire for much of the year was a t-shirt and then a heavy coat, because once you went inside, it was basically just sweltering inside because like the heat was just industrial blast that shit. My heart nearly stops as a deafening clatter comes from ahead. A couple walking arm in arm skirt around the edge of the room, doing their best to not draw the attention of a blonde woman nearby. She grumbles loudly before delivering another kick to the poor, abused vending machine in front of her. I hate situations like these. Either I do nothing and feel bad for not helping, or step in and deal with the stress that comes with confronting someone involved. Just because I don't buy enough different types of layers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's always the problem with scene went through around 3 to 4 iterations of scene direction. Interesting. Right, to be satisfied. Like, I can see, like, in winter, I can be happy wearing a sweater or like long sleeve shirt in my own home. But so often, if I go somewhere else, the heat's cranked up. As I try to work my way out of this, my heart freezes as the woman locks eyes with me. I must make for a pitiable sight with my hands raised defensively in front of me, her rage calming as she settles for staring daggers at the machine. Resigned to my fate, I reluctantly shuffle towards her as my heart beats wildly. As I do, her dour look. I accidentally clicked. Well, misfire. Gamer, fire this gamer. Is something wrong? Oh, I can scroll up? I can! Ha ha! If only I had paid attention to the keybinds in the menu. As I do, her dour look is only made all the more intimidating from the bags under her eyes. Is something wrong? Stupid thing ate my money. No can or change at all. Threw $5 in there too. The vending machine here messes up sometimes. It's usually better to go through to the cafeteria for drinks. They should fix it then. Recounting the event only serves to stir up her annoyance. Another foot being jammed into the accused. The horrible noise makes me cringe again, and I'm starting to worry she'll hurt herself as much as the machine itself. Well, this visual novel just got auto-modded on my stream. Sorry. Don't kick it again. Why not? This thing's already broken, isn't it? I want to say that I'd rather not get in trouble with the staff, but I get the feeling that wouldn't faze her. Reviewing my options as quickly as I can, there's only one solution I can think of that might settle her down. I probably shouldn't, but if nobody's paying much attention... which drink did you want? She gives me a curious look after I manage to squeak the words out, but eventually points. Was just grabbing a lemonade on the way out. Could you turn around for a moment? With great reluctance, she turns away as I ask. I doubt she could work out what I'm doing by looking, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Closing my eyes and silently mouthing the right sequence to make sure I don't mess it up, I go about my business. With any luck, the software inside hasn't been updated since I last... Oh, all right. Okay, she's hacked the planet, hacked the vending machine. A long sigh of relief passes my lips as the vending machine rattles away, loudly dumping a can into the small opening. Holding the can before the blonde woman's face as she turns back around, my reward is a somewhat impressed expression as she takes the item. Now that she has her drink and had a chance to get her frustration out of her system, she seems to be calming a little. Her height doesn't help her look any less intimidating, though. With that, I consider the matter settled as I nod and begin to walk away. Only as I leave do I realize my heart is racing after having to deal with her. Hey, wait up! Reaching for my instinctual response, I pretend not to hear her as I skitter away and disappear back through the entrance. Oh, bye. We'll never see her again. The cold hits me like a wall as I leave through the door. I hardly mind heaving a sigh to steady myself as I head towards classes. I only remember now that I'd intended to grab a drink myself, but fiddling with the machines probably made me too late. The empty campus grounds make me nervous, making me take my phone in hand to check the time. A quick glance is all that's needed to send me dashing towards the Sciences building. It's going to be one of those days. Panting from the run, I stagger into biology class with as much composure as I can muster. The sight seems to make a pitiable impression on the professor, who merely nods for me to take a seat. Yeah, is there going to be a VR version of this soon? Setting my bag next to me, I quickly take the seat next to a now familiar figure. The diminutive Caprice shoots a grin and a wave as I sit down, earning a smile in return. I'm assuming Caprice is probably the right way to say that, because I'm just thinking capricious. But, like, I don't know if I'm familiar with that name. I'm going to say that is correct. Okay, all right. I feel better about that now. It's nice to see a friendly face. Also, can we talk about the emoji face on the blackboard? With Capiche? As the professor gets back to lecturing, is actually a super only arch you would get. Okay, interesting. As the professor gets back to lecturing, I grab my still pristine textbook from my bag, flicking through to the bookmark I'd added for where we currently are. Movement from the corner of my eye takes my attention, a ripped piece of sketch pad sliding before me. Oh no, your perfect attendance record. What happened? Her writing is surrounded by various doodles and scribbles already on the page. I should pay attention to the class, but it isn't that easy to wave Caprice off. Then again, this is largely reviewing what we covered in high school right now. It probably wouldn't hurt to chat with her a bit. Yo, I got held up with someone. Oh, what was that? That was a nightmare. I write a brief reply and a little accompanying drawing before sliding it back over. A quick look to the professor, making sure the coast is clear as he drones on. Caprice's reply as the page is passed back makes me grimace. I should have expected that. I'm going to interpret that as like a thinking face. I almost reply before noticing the professor casting a knowing glance my way as he continues with his teaching. He knew what we were doing, didn't he? Oh, like a smug face? Yeah, I could see that. Thinking better of it, I tuck the page beneath my textbook and start listening properly. I don't need to look at Caprice to know her reaction. I hardly think worse of her for it, though. Swapping doodles during these classes was how she broke the ice with me when I was just another lonely freshman student. A shy one at that. Given we're still friends, I suppose it worked. Sneaking a glance back at the page beneath my book reminds me of how well the mercurial girl can draw, at least compared to me. She mentioned one time that she's also taking art classes, which must be paying off. Before I know it, the class starts winding up. The other students begin to get distracted as time goes on, the professor soon starting to wrap things up in response. No sooner do the words come from his mouth that the class is over, does the loud clatter of people packing books and pens into their bags and backpacks begin. Yeah, that's a reliable thing. That was I mean I'm like 10 years removed. I guess I don't know. I did part-time law school for a little bit. But that was always like the most thunderous shit in the universe. When the professor even hints that like class is over, people are just like, smash that book. Caprice wastes no time in talking as the two of us do the same. I was worried you were sick today, Allie. It was only a couple of minutes. For you, that's a lot. She has a point. It's likely I was more concerned about this than the teacher. After near perfect attendance through high school, though, the last thing I want is to set a bad expectation from the staff here. Whatever. It's college attendance. No one cares about college attendance. Setting that aside, I'm not sure the professor really likes us passing notes to each other in class. Oh, don't worry about him. He's cool. We've talked. Well, if you're sure, I do like seeing your drawings. Aw, and I like seeing yours. I'm glad you're here today, actually. I've been thinking, and I need your help with something. We're making an art club. But there's already an... Wait, why is there a we there? How am I part of this? Well, you're a founding member, of course. Why? Oh, achievement unlocked. The new art club. Oh, yeah. I guess it's funny. Usually when the Steam overlay doesn't get captured by the OBS DirectX capture, so I will have to relay the Steam achievements to y'all. You'll be deprived of that. Why do I get the feeling Caprice has been mulling this over in her head for ages? Plans seem to already be in motion for her, and I'm not sure what choice I have left in this. I'm left to mull things over as I take my coat from the back of my seat and slip it on. The two of us taking our bags and joining the others and heading out into the hallway. I hadn't even considered joining a club, let alone starting one up, with all the work that it'd entail. I can help, but I have my schoolwork to concentrate on, you know? Getting a scholarship wasn't easy, and I'd rather not waste it. All right. You were majoring in chemistry, weren't you? I give a nod, albeit a slightly guilty one. Not that I dare have told my family, but I only picked chemistry because I happened to be good at it. Like most things in life, I just went with the default option before me. Yeah, I'm gonna make up some achievements. They're all gonna be, all the achievements are gonna be themed after popular Twitch streamers is what I'm gonna do. Because I am deeply familiar with popular Twitch streamers. Yeah, maybe, okay. Maybe the, will viewers of First Snow be able to form an anti-vampire coalition? We'll find out. Yeah, well, that's the question, right, Frank? So FF7 Remake and Minish Cap were like my picks to win this poll. Although apparently now with that vote, I think Professor Layton just moved into second place. Hey, if y'all want to form a Professor Layton coalition, then like, God bless. You know, I'll take that. At least Caprice seems to have moved on from me being a part of this. I have enough going on in my life between moving to a new home and studying for college to think about spending time in clubs and things. Yeah, there you go. Realignment is occurring. Professor Layton and the voting realignment. Wow, all right. Doesn't Layton, I think Layton has it's on its like third or fourth pole, but big first snow mood. Yeah, first snow, and Professor Layton deeply allied. I'm surprised you're taking biology classes, to be honest. Aren't you more into art? It's hard to pick a favorite, but right now bio is just the entry level stuff. It's so boring, right? I talked to the professor though, and we're getting into some marine life chapters soon. Is that a JoJo reference? Marine biology? Is this a JoJo's reference? Is there JoJo in this game? FF7 remake wasn't gonna win yet. I mean, I'm shocked that FF7 that is not a JoJo reference. Okay, fine. Is it a Seinfeld reference? Some people just like marine biology. A likely story. It seems it seems very specific. I have to agree. It's the most interesting part. I gotta focus hard when we get there. I plan on making it my major. So even a free spirit like Caprice has something she's working towards. It seems I can't get away from how much of a mess my life is, with no idea what I want to do for a career. Psh. See, here's the thing, and hopefully Allison will learn this lesson, is that we weren't put on this earth to have careers. So, like, don't worry so much, right? I like how bass heavy this soundtrack is. It's very good. I like all this bass. I'm not gonna lie. I love bass fishing. The two of us head outside with our next classes in other buildings. As we do, I look about warily as students from, that's a word I can't say, worry. What is the right, my Philadelphia vowels are confused. There was a fair amount of iteration on the OST to get the right instruments and comfy aesthetic. No, I think this is maximum comfy. I'm pretty happy with this. Warily? Rhymes with warily, not warily. Worry, warble. As we do, I look about warily as students from other classes pass by. I'd rather not bump into that angry woman again. Who were you held up with anyhow? Bump into a friend? That would require there to be another beyond her in the first place. She's about the last person I'd call a friend. Kind of scary, actually. She might have been asking out a small talk before, but now I have her full interest. With reluctance, I think back to the event. Not sure if you know her. Tall, blonde, green eyes, very sharp look, with high boots. Kinda pretty. Now that I have time to think it through, she was quite beautiful. In more than her body, too. I liked her sense of fashion. I think I know who you're talking about, actually. Okay, I'm gonna call my shot right now. The blonde woman is one of the other founding members of the art club. Calling my shot. You do? Yep. All right. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Let's go! Let's go! She hasn't dropped the idea of me joining at all. And now wants her, of all people, to be part of this. My reaction to the news apparently shows on my face. If we're thinking of the same person, I've seen her around, and I've heard some things. She floats around the art department a lot, so the other art club tried to grab her. She didn't even pretend to consider it, just told them to get lost. I mean, look, I think sometimes you want to bring a little energy to your presentation. So, you know, I just like to provide that energy. This track's a little more upbeat. You know, we got a little brush, a little hi-hat. Which means she's still free. If she already rejected one club, why would she join another? Because it's led by me, of course. I just sigh. I need to get to my next class. Being late for one today is already too much. Resigned to my fate, I wave goodbye and start to head off. Not more than a couple of seconds later, I hear her calling out behind me. Ah, before you go, meet me on the second floor of the arts building after classes, okay? We need to get started on finding a club room and stuff. Looks like I'm gonna be a part of this scheme, whether I like it or not. Dealing with that woman again makes me shudder, but she'll surely just reject Caprice, and that'll be that. Yeah, hey Skeller. Welcome to First Snow. Shiz worked on this game, so we are doing a play. We're enjoying, and it's very comfy. Music is very, very good, and the art is very, very warm and comfy as well. Walking through the halls at these hours is a wholly different experience to the normal hustle and bustle. I would also see with the Christmas decorations is also a wholly different experience. Banned. Yeah, there's currently a realignment going on. Where students gossiped in the hallways, organized dates, and hurried between classes with arms full of overpriced textbooks. There's now a sweet silence. All to be seen at this hour is the odd straggler, thinking more about dinner than schoolwork. Oh, it's on the... okay, so it's on the third vote, so it's got a 1.5 multiplier. I see. Well, to be fair, we don't know that Vampire is evil. I do believe that there is a morality system in Vampire. So you can be the good vampire or the evil vampire, from what I understand. Well, them and the Christmas decorations, I get the feeling that the arts and humanities staff take some enjoyment out of getting ready for the occasion. Much like the school itself, the decorations look a bit ragged, probably hauled out every year for decades. Yeah, it will be something. With little to do until Caprice shows up, exploring the arts building and peering into this classroom, or that winds up passing the time. Heading up the stairs, I take my time strolling through the hallways. Everything is bathed in the orange of the sunset, the quiet of the halls giving the building a serene atmosphere. It's calming after the day's events. It isn't until a good few minutes pass that I find the first thing of much interest. A single room with the door left open. Nobody dies in First Snow. I really glad that I was tempted to take Frank's chat comment and interpret it to apply to First Snow. Like but I was like, nah, I'll just answer it earnestly and talk about Vampire. But I'm glad someone did it. With curiosity getting the better of me, I stroll up the hallway and gingerly step inside. At least I can close the door for them. With only a handful of chairs actually set against tables, I would think the room unused if not for the paints, papers, and sketchbooks strewn across the tops of the cupboards. If Caprice wanted a club room, this would be as good as any. As I peer about, the sight of one particular canvas amongst it all catches my attention. The painting of a woman standing in water sits drying on the easel. The painter's utensils still lying about. Stepping up to look at it, I'm surprised by how old-fashioned it is. Like the kind of oil painting that would be drawn a century or so ago. Every brushstroke and line has depth to it. The painter's every movement clearly visible. I find myself struck by its beauty, time slipping by me as I stare. Her soft-looking skin and flowing locks of hair are enough to make me wistfully sigh, her face telling of her free spirit. It's beautiful. My thoughts are suddenly interrupted by the creaking of the door opening further, causing me to whip around in fright. The particular person standing in the doorway looking straight at me does nothing to settle my racing heart, much less the fact that I'm not even supposed to be in here. Sorry, I mean... I quickly try to stammer out something, but the words keep catching in my throat. It's vending machine girl. Allison? Allison Merlot? Like the wine? So you do have a name. I'm Eileen Turner, for what it's worth. I quickly nod. For all my nervousness about maybe being somewhere I shouldn't, Eileen doesn't actually seem to care that much. In fact, she looks almost bored. If this room's used by a bunch of people, there's a good chance she might not know I'm an intruder. Well, I'm going to close the place up. If you want anything, you should grab it. Not that I think you have anything here. The cold edge to her voice freezes my entire body. I mean, I can explain. Eileen narrows her eyes and crosses her arms, waiting for my response. A response which is interrupted by a familiar voice booming from the entrance. Hey, Allie. I don't think I've ever been so glad to see Caprice. Given this art club business was her idea, it's for the best if she explains it all. Eileen doesn't look impressed as Caprice skips into the room, looking this way and that like some tourist. Good work. You already found us a room. This'll work perfectly. So, Caprice got herself a new goon. I wish I was surprised. Yep. You're not supposed to agree with that. And what do you want this room for, pray tell? Well, the current art club is awful. I'm sure you know. So instead of dealing with them, we're gonna form our own. And it looks like you and Allie have found us our club room. I see what's happened here now. Caprice engineered the situation so we'd all be here together. This isn't a very subtle scheme, but that's all the more reason for her to have come up with it. I try my best to backpedal in a way that don't upset either. I just thought we'd draw a bit. Didn't mean to intrude. I got permission to use this room to practice my painting, not for some dumb club. Sorry, but 2 against 1, majority rule. I didn't say anything about a club. Well, too bad. This is a dictatorship. Yeah, no, the tunes are good. I agree, Skiller. Eileen stands her ground, staring down her opponent, as I try my best to stay well out of their argument. Her resolve doesn't last long, though. Realizing the futility of it, she eventually heaves a sigh at Caprice's antics. Can't say I totally blame her. I just want to work in peace. That isn't much to ask. But I'm going. Not going to get anything more done today anyway. Eileen turns to me after picking up her coat from a desk and pulling her scarf around her, rather pointedly being finished with Caprice. See you around, I guess. Yeah. At a loss for how I'm supposed to respond to such an unenthusiastic tone, I'm left standing silently by as a frustrated Eileen throws her backpack over her shoulder and strides out. Caprice just smiles and shrugs as she looks back to me, the argument they had just moments ago flowing off her like water on a duck's back. Well, that's how it is. I feel like I got dragged into something. I didn't really think that would work, but it was worth a try. She's not listening to me at all. Am I really just an instrument to try and win this argument between them? No, I can't think that. Caprice is forceful, but she means well. If this did end up being a club, I'd probably enjoy it. Caprice certainly wouldn't make it dull, and I think if Eileen got to know me, she'd be nicer to me, but I don't want to risk Eileen getting even more annoyed with me. It feels like I've been left to hunker down in a foxhole in no man's land, and all I can do right now is hold my helmet on tight. As the orange of the sunset starts to wane outside, it becomes obvious that nothing more is going to get done today, just as Eileen said. Yeah, war never changes. I'd better head home. It's getting late. See you tomorrow. No, visual novels are never about love. 100%. That's actually forbidden. It's illegal. If you write a visual novel about a love story, you go to jail. See ya. If you ever want to draw, feel free to drop by the new clubroom. Precisely none of what Eileen said penetrated, did it? I just give a weak smile as I wave and take my bag, idly wondering if Rose will be cooking something for dinner or bringing home takeout. It's something more heartening to think about than today's efforts anyway. Yep, this is a free game on Steam, just released. Folks, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm playing a visual novel that Shiz worked on that just released today on Steam, and it is free. I think you can also download it from other places, maybe, ? But Steam, lots of people probably have Steam. You can find it on Steam. Skiller, I'm pretty sure people don't speedrun visual novels. Oh, okay, so there is a Shiz as well. Okay, and direct download. Okay. So generally speaking, the idea of speedrunning visual novels is frowned upon. I mean, like, unless there's some other component that isn't visual novel stuff. But I mean, I guess you can if you want. 100% in 3 minutes. Great. Yeah. I was like, I bet you, I was thinking it was an achievement hunter. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind the idea of getting all achievements in a game that you enjoy playing, like what Make is doing. But, like, that phenomenon of just trying to accrue achievement is weird. Like, just getting games. Because isn't it like a whole, like, phenomenon where you just, like, there's, like, asset flip games that just you get massive amounts of achievements from, and that's the whole thing. As I collapse onto the couch and settle in, the deafening sound of silence rushes in. The odd passing car from the street below the apartment only highlights the quiet of the room. Plucking my phone from my pocket after dropping my bag on the cushion beside me, I take quick note of the time. I guess Rose got stuck in traffic. That lock screen, though. An annoying train of thought starts up once again as I put it away. One that's crept up on me occasionally ever since moving out, just waiting for when nothing's around to distract me. I can cope with the schoolwork easily enough. It's mostly just review right now. People like Caprice might be a handful, but they do liven up the day's routine. It's a fair distance to campus from here, but the walk helps keep me fit. The silence. That I can't deal with. Grabbing the remote and flicking on the television at least provides some background noise, but it's no replacement for the sounds of home. There's no mother busying herself over the cooking pot to welcome me home and ask me how my day was. No excitable older brothers fighting about this silly thing or that. No father for me to happily see come home from work. It's just me now. My fingers roll over the screen in thought as it brings up the lock screen, mindlessly tracing out the cracks in the bottom corner. I could easily call them right now. My mom and dad both made it clear I could ring anytime at all. Charge your battery. What are you doing? But as I stare at the screen, a deep apathy strikes me. Before college, I'd thought that with my family and old friends just a phone call away, nothing would feel all that different. Maybe I just couldn't admit to myself how big of a change this would really be. Admitting defeat, the phone ends up on the couch beside me as I watch television. The news is interesting today, so at least it's some distraction from all this. Yeah, watch what you wish for there. Bird phone, bird phone, bird phone. The phone only has only tweets. Not even using Twitter, it just tweets. That's all the phone does. Just when I thought I'd finally found a friend or two in college, it ends up being a mess. Why do people ... have to be so complicated? As the door behind me opens, I close my thoughts on the subject. There's no point in mulling things over any further. Ooh, achievement unlocked. Art matters. Dab. Okay. The Saturday's morning air is brisk as I stagger back from the supermarket, hands full with bags. The apartment itself may be nothing to write home about, but it's certainly in a good location. That was one scene. I still don't feel like I've been pulling my weight when it comes to daily life with Rose, but at least I can help with errands like groceries. Her attempts to teach me handiwork skills have been less successful. I could probably write some silly achievement names, it's true. Even this much has been a learning experience, my parents usually doing the shopping back when I lived with them. Oh, God, Rose, smoking is bad for you. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, damn it! The motorbike was Rose's the whole time? Oh, God, she's just a giant ball of risk. Reaching the apartment, I find Rose crouched outside and working on her motorbike. She looks perfectly content as she whiles away her time with tools spread around her, as if a child happily playing with their favorite toys. Wait a second. Okay, never mind. You imagine Rose is an old lady? No, I think Rose is probably like a few years older. You can turn on... sound effects cues and it'll show which sound effects are playing. Is there a way to access the menu right now? Or... escape. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Options. Accessibility. So like turn on the sound cues is what you're saying? Is probably the thing to do. Okay. Alright, let's see how this goes. Working on the bike again. Oh, hey, that was quick. She levers herself up with a grunt before pulling back the edge of one bag with a finger to peer in, then another. I'm a little worried as she checks over my work. Having to hold my breath as she does isn't exactly helping. I'm still not used to the acrid smell of her smoking, but maybe that's a good thing. Good work. Everything we needed, and no weird impulse buys, Icy. Did we need more window cleaner though? You said to grab necessities if they're on sale and don't spoil, right? You're learning. Could you help me down here once you've put everything away? I need another set of hands. Without anything in particular planned for today, I agree before heading inside. The rickety stairs creak as I slowly head up with groceries in hand, fumbling with the door handle. My arms are thankful for the relief once I manage to drop the bags in the apartment after opening the door. Opening the fridge, I get to work stuffing in the frozen and cold items first. Next, I open the cabinet doors and start ladling in the cans and boxes. You can grocery shop with me. You don't want me to impulse buy. Okay. Thing is, even if I went grocery shopping with you, you still make like separate Trader Joe's trips. I don't know if I can affect those. As the empty shelves fill, I get an odd sense of satisfaction from caring for myself. Living as an adult is busy work, but it is rewarding in its own way. There's an odd and unexpected feeling of accomplishment from doing even simple tasks. I'm sure it'll wear off in time, but I'm holding on to it for now. With the job done, I close the cabinets and get back up to look about the room. The apartment is barely any warmer inside than out. I suppose there are downsides as well as upsides. Putting it out of mind as best I can, I head back down to Rose. Yeah, I was gonna say Trader Joe's is just an impulse buy store as far as I can tell. Slipping back outside and closing the door behind me, familiar clangs and bangs carry on the air as Rose still works away. Pass a rag, would you? I quickly take a seat near her on a patch cleared of snow, grabbing one of the turn-up pieces of old shirt and handing it to her. She seems to be cleaning out some part of the engine or another. Anything interesting happening at school? Not really. The schoolwork isn't too hard so far. A friend wants to start a club. A club, huh? That's cool. What kind? An art club, apparently. I'm not really sold on it, though. I need to study, and she basically came up with the whole idea by herself. Wait. What? Oh, okay, that's just the carryover. I for a second I thought she had reacted to Allison's statement. Like, art club? Like Pikachu. Like, this is almost like Pikachu face, I feel like. Surprise Pikachu. Rose passes the rag back and puts the part in place, motioning for me to hold it while she wrenches it back in. After a few grunts, the job appears to be done as she puts the wrench down with a clunk and turns back toward me. Life's not about studying. I know you were a teacher's pet back in high school, but you could stand to be a bit more social. So it's this again. This is another downside of living here. With so much of my time spent along with Rose, there's, for better or worse, no easy way to escape her questioning. I know she has my best interests in mind, though. I'm glad to have someone around to help me get to grips with adult life. Even if I did find her intimidating. It's true, Rose does, I mean, we know nothing about Rose's, anything that Rose does? I mean, I guess she works, because she wasn't in the house when Allison got home, but... What was your college life like, huh? Never had the chance to go. I'm left a little surprised as she gets back to her bike. I've only known Rose for a couple of months now, so I'm still finding out new things about her all the time. Maybe you get why I'm on your case about this stuff now. Not everyone gets the chances you have, so make the most of it. Go to parties, get some friends, and find a boyfriend sometime. Even if it doesn't last, it'll be a start. My family always pushed me to put such things aside and focus on my education, so that's what I did. The simplicity of life back then suited me just fine, and it worked out well going by my scholarship. I was never really interested in boys because I was so caught up in learning, is what I'd like to say. But I'm honest enough with myself to know that's not the whole story. Seeing Eileen last week reminded me of that. Women like her keep catching my eye. And then there was that painting of hers. As time goes on, that difference in what I like looking at gets harder and harder to explain away. Is college really about socializing? Well, okay. What is college about? This is discourse. This is meaty discourse right here. Because I would say that some people, to a negative extent, have a vision of college being just about parties. And that is not good. Like, to have it be entirely that. To have it be just parties and socializing isn't good. But, like, to me, the point of undergraduate education is really a breadth of experience rather than career job training. I actually really dislike it when people reduce undergraduate education to job training, because I think undergraduate education should be like more specialized than high school, than secondary education, but it should still, like, you should still really have, you know, like a broad range of experiences, I feel, because the idea is that you're going to be a human being, not a number machine, you know? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting experience. It's a dynamic experience at a time, I think, in our lives when we are very dynamic people becoming adults, or at least that's how a lot of people experience it. So, I don't know. I'm just, my main flag that I want to plant in the ground is, you know, broad education isn't about just getting a job. Rag Allison. I hastily place a rag in her outstretched hand. Rose using it to try and rub some of the oil and grease off her hands. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I'm not straight, if that's truly the case. While I would like to talk with her about it, I can never quite seem to find the right time. Life after college would have more options for communal living. Yeah, I mean, I think part of, honestly, the biggest issue is just that housing is so screwed up, especially in America. I don't know. Like, the whole situation of housing is just like bonkers. But you got to your college graduation, failed the social thing, got a job. So I mean, Like I got degrees. I got a bachelor's and master's degrees in electrical engineering. So like, I guess I did the specialize in a field that's probably going to get you a job. And I have gotten jobs based on those degrees, but like, whatever. That's not the part I remember fondly of college. In fact, outside of my classes, I stayed as far away as I could from anything to do with engineering. Like, no engineering honor societies, no other engineering clubs. No, stay away. I'm going to go play music and drink, play video games. Sometimes mix those. You all right? Yeah, I was just thinking how life is complicated. Sure is. Hey, you bought that ice cream I asked for while you were out? Well, I'm not like... Sometimes you tee me up, Icy, to say something, and like the thing is, you're not even the person who does this the most. There's like one of my someone who's a subscriber to this channel often talks about how instead of college, people should seek out vocational like education for like trades and stuff. And like, by all means, working in a trade is cool. There is dignity in labor. Having technical skills is awesome. But, I think at that point you're saying that, the whole point of like liberal arts was just to get a job. And I don't like that. So that's like a pet peeve for me. It's in the freezer now. Why? How about we have some? Could use a treat after working all morning on this thing. She has strange ideas about what makes a good dessert in the cold of winter, but I'm not going to stop her. As the two of us start packing up, another peaceful day rolls by. A loud yawn from Rose emanates from the couch, the droning of the television briefly overshadowed. The only other sound is the coffee pot boiling away from the kitchen, punctuated by the occasional passing car. You're mad that you forced yourself to hang out with people for 4 entire years that I clearly wasn't building friendships with. I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting the extent to which people form friendships in specific periods of their life and the extent to which those friendships stick. Like, I know for me, like a common thing I would hear from my college friends was that they felt it was unusual that I had retained such a core group of high school friends. A lot of them thought that was weird. And even now, like, it's still true that I know I'm in regular touch with a bunch of people that either I went to high school with or I met, as friends of high school friends. And kind of the same thing with college now, where I had, like, multiple college. I don't know. I feel like I don't do a good job of keeping in touch with people, but apparently I do a good job of keeping in touch with people. Only half awake and still acting on autopilot, I lazily wipe the sleep from my eyes as I stagger toward the door. The smell of Rose's toast wafts invitingly through the air, making me envious of her later start to work. It's not about them sticking. I was just around them in the club, but rarely outside the club. Okay. I let out a loud yawn before I can stifle it, causing Rose to look over from the couch. Oh, she's got a tattoo. Okay, details. We're learning. Wow, you look like hell. Thank you. Stay up too late playing on your phone or something? It doesn't look like you got an hour of sleep. While Rose is less than tactful about this, it is true that I shouldn't be so tired. I'm usually a morning person, but right now I can barely remember where I even put my phone. Rose picks herself up from the couch as she finishes her breakfast, brushing toast crumbs off herself as she starts towards the kitchen. You got Diego to give off bad vibes now? Is that what you're saying? He'll always be my friend. It's true. He'll always want to fight you, too. I may say that, but it's hardly any real shock. She sleeps like a log, which I've always been jealous about. Rose puts down the plate in her hand, giving the matter more thought than I'd intended. The ones above us, right? Man, I'm sick of them. I'll go have a talk to them later today and get them to knock it off. Making a racket during the day is one thing, but the night's another. You don't have to do that. They might be quiet from now on anyway. She looks surprisingly disappointed at my attempts to wave off her concern. You have to stand up for yourself sometimes, Allison. Waiting for things to blow over ain't always gonna work. I wind up rubbing my neck and avoid outright answering. Apparently, dropping the topic, she sighs and disappears into the kitchen after taking her plate again. Diego is a data dog, so he's just trying to smell all that good data going through the router. I understand that need. I just don't want to cause a fuss, especially on my behalf. Is that really so bad? With time rolling by, I glance about and see my phone on the corner of the table. Slipping it into my coat pocket, I skip over and grab my bag sitting by the door. As I stretch a bit to try and wake myself up before facing the cold outside, Rose calls out from behind me. Turning to see her shows a fistful of crumpled dollar bills in the hand thrust out towards me. Here, go buy yourself an espresso or something on the way. It's fine, you don't have to. Just take it. You look awful. She really does have a way with words. I reluctantly take the cash and slip it into my pocket, thanking Rose as I leave. As soon as I get out the door, the weather hits me. Looks like it's going to be a harsh winter this year, with the cold of the snow dumping down being made all the worse by the chilly fog hanging in the air. Is Rose a stripper, a barista, or a waitress? I don't know, but she's got thorns. Twisting my head to and fro to bury it in my scarf a little better, I set off down the road with hands firmly lodged in my coat pockets. There don't seem to be many people around that are braving the weather. Not that I blame them. As the muffled sound of snow under tires rings out, a garbage truck rumbles by. It's only after a worrying few seconds that I remember I did indeed put the garbage out for collection yesterday. Reaching the campus, the welcome sight of a cafe nearby lifts my spirits. I've overheard students mention the coffee here is good and it's conveniently right next to campus. It looks homely enough from the outside and only has a handful of people inside at this hour as I peer through the windows. With a quick brush of the fallen snow off my shoulders and bag, I take a breath and walk in. Folks, we're going to have a talk about a sticking point I had with this video game so far. The video game is called First Snow, but I feel like we're on like our third day now, and I'm not sure if I believe anymore that this is still the same snow. I feel like we're probably several snows in. And so I'm not really sure if the game is just about the first snow anymore, but I mean, you can't, the snow is omnipresent. A bell above the door rings out as I enter, the smell of coffee on the air combining with the homely styling inside, making for an immediately cozy atmosphere. I do like this. This logo is very good. Pastries, delicious. Lone Plant, coffee. I guess these are probably what, different roasts or sizes? I mean, it could just be scribbles, but I feel like it suggests it. At least this one, that looks like coffee, so, and that looks like maybe like ounces or something. Joining the couple of people in line, I quickly rehearse the order in my mind to make sure I get it right. The barista's nice smile toward the other patrons keeps making me trip over myself, and I've never been great in dealing with strangers. Background artist loves putting in detail. She's wonderful. Yeah, no, very nice. Coming to the front of the line, I manage to blurt out my order of a latte with sugar before I can mess it up. She smiles and takes my payment, leaving me to wait to the side as it is prepared. I briefly consider having it here, given how relaxing the cafe is. I don't know, something about this man's face. Like, it's very fourth wall breaking. Like, why is he looking right at me? I'm concerned. Extremely Is this the Fall Guy? I've heard about this video game. This looks like a Fall Guy. He's very autumnal. That's before I notice Caprice loudly chatting with the tall man sitting across from her. I'm surprised I didn't notice them. I must really be out of it. As the cute barista slides the coffee cup towards me, I decide I'd better leave the two in peace and drink outside. Before I can, Caprice catches sight of me and begins excitedly waving her hand in the air, like she just don't care. Allie! Hey, Allie! Over here! Allie! So much for that. Coffee in hand, I wearily walk over to their table and look from one to the other. Morning, Caprice. Wallace. Chair scrape fast. Upon Caprice moving her backpack off a chair and placing it on the floor, I take a seat. Allison here is a good friend and one of the founding members of the art club. The new art club. This is Caprice's rodeo, so I'm content to let her deal with the club as she wants to at this point. It takes me a moment to realize she referred to me as a good friend in particular. We've only known each other for the couple of months since the semester started, but I'm a little glad she thinks of me like that. Hi, I'm some guy. Now he has like a 1,000-yard stare. He's like, what have I been doing with my life? I'm some guy Caprice found. He's our fourth member. As he sighs forlornly, all I can offer is a stilted smile in response. Caprice looked so comfortable dealing with him that I assumed they knew each other already. Come to think of it, Caprice had no problem dealing with Eileen either, despite barely knowing her. I'm impressed at how she can talk to strangers with just the same confidence as friends. Maybe she even considers him one already. So, what did you get up to over the weekend, Allie? Just housework and errands? Oh, just housework and errands. It's surprising how much time I spend on that sort of thing now that I moved out. I get what you mean. Thankfully, I split the work with my roommates. It's my roommate that makes me want to pick up the slack. Caprice looks to Wallace for his input, making him part of the conversation. Was Scott Pilgrim's roommate in Scott Pilgrim named Wallace? Are they Scott Pilgrim fans here? I feel like it's been a while since I've read that or watched the movie. I look after the family gun shop on weekends. Nothing glamorous, but enough to get by on. Caprice continues on chatting, mostly with him. Wallace quietly nods along, adding a yeah or a I see as needed. I get the distinct feeling he's being talked at more than being talked to. Now that we're both sitting across from each other, I can fully appreciate how much of a bear the man is, cutting more of a foreboding figure thanks to his beard. I am correct. Okay. You had a physical Scott Pilgrim volume on hand? I think I read those digitally, like in 2010. The visual novels are a lot of fun. Graphic novels? Graphic novels. That's what I meant. Graphic novels. I know words. I understand the medium. I can already feel myself shrinking in response. For one to not stare at him, I turn to the coffee, steaming away before him. A flat black, with the lid taken off to let it cool faster. I can taste how bitter it is just by looking at it. The conversation is suddenly interrupted by a phone going off. Apparently Caprice's, as her hand dives into the front pocket of her hoodie and retrieves it. Wallace and I just look to each other as she wanders off a few steps to take the call, unsure exactly what to do with ourselves. It only takes a few seconds before she returns. Sorry guys, gotta go. Roommates need me. Oh wait, I'll see you two around. We've got much more to discuss. With that, she grabs her backpack and skips out into the winter air without another word. Going by her face, I'm more worried about this than she is. Left alone with Wallace, I sip my coffee for something to do. Glancing in his direction, he looks more relieved than anything. She means well. I know she does. Even if Eileen doesn't think so. I just have to keep telling myself that. And now I'm glad I didn't say that. Much as I would like to leap to her defense, she is pushing this awfully hard. If he's trying to start conversation, I feel I should at least try to reciprocate rather than letting him twist in the wind. So, you and Eileen know each other? He gives a nod after taking a long sip of his coffee. That must be so awfully bitter. Yeah, we're friends. Met when she was a freshman in high school. Caprice saw us together and made the connection. Oh. She's filled me in on this club business. I'm gonna guess you were pulled into it. Something like that. Kinda spiraled out of control, sorry. Wallace simply shrugs. Not the first time clubs have been pushy about scouting members. I was actually thinking the whole thing might be good for Eileen. Her single-mindedness is her best and worst trait, really. I don't want to say please put up with Eileen, but I'm having trouble working out a better way to word that. She isn't a bad person, just driven. I'm sure you know someone similar. I do shudder what her reaction would be to be told that she and Caprice are similar in any way. I'm still not sure about dealing with her, but it's hard to deny someone worried about their friend. Wallace seems content that he's managed to get his point across, silence hanging in the air as he thoughtfully sips his coffee. It reminds me that I should drink my own before it gets too cold as well. The weather outside is frightful, is a harsh contrast to the nice atmosphere in here, which might be why more students are starting to file in before classes start. The coffee's nice as well, so maybe I'll make this a regular spot, if I can afford to, that is. As for my companion, think I'm starting to see him in a better way. He's just concerned about his friend. Maybe he's the gentle giant type, who isn't that threatening at all. With his cup empty as he sets it down, Wallace sits back to savor the last of its taste. Well, I've said my piece. Caprice will probably give up on me, but you and Eileen are another matter. Caprice is a good friend. I can handle her. It was nice meeting you, Wallace. I carefully repeat his name to try and engrave it in my memory. I have no doubt I'd instantly forget it otherwise. He's perhaps overly hopeful when it comes to Caprice, though. Thanks. You seem nice, so hopefully Eileen will ease off a bit. He levers himself off the chair with a grunt, taking a glance outside before grabbing his scarf and hat once more. Oh yeah, that's Fall Guy. That's the Fall Guy. Officer, I found him. With that, he leaves the cafe while sliding past someone coming in, staggering through the terrible weather outside as he goes. With my next class so soon, I'd better finish this coffee off quickly. With that in mind, I concentrate on taking as big gulps as I can without looking unsightly. It's funny how one thing leads to another, though. It feels like a snowball has begun to start rolling, meeting new and interesting people since I started here. It might have taken a couple of months, but maybe I will manage to find some new friends. With the weather turning worse and worse as the week went on. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 W's. The library seemed as good a place as any to spend some time before having lunch. Unfortunately, it looks like I wasn't the only one who had that idea. While the library here is bigger than my previous schools, that doesn't matter much when a large portion of the students are dumped inside. While my first choice would have been using one of the computers, that is obviously out of the question. Worried about looking like a dork as I loiter about, I start walking slowly through the library. Thankfully, nobody pays me much attention while I glance from side to side for an empty table or desk. The students who are actually studying seem to be outnumbered by those gossiping with friends or catching up on sleep. It's only in a far corner of the room that I catch a familiar face, albeit not necessarily a welcome one. Yep. Eileen sits hunched over a thick textbook, occasionally scribbling into a small notebook beside it as her finger stops every so often on one important part or another. It's hard to tell if she's annoyed or just studying hard. I consider leaving Eileen to her studying and braving the weather outside before she rubs her temple and looks down mournfully at her notebook. That pose is all too familiar for any student. I feel a little bad for her, given the vending machine problems and how she wound up with Caprice stuck to her. She doesn't seem to have very good luck. She might not be the friendliest person, but if I could help her a bit. With Wallace's words weighing on my mind, I grimace and accept my fate as I begin walking to the otherwise empty table. She looks up and catches my eye as I come near, so guess I'm committed to this now. Afternoon. My existence has been noted. I don't think that could sound any more perfunctory, but at least she isn't shooing me away. Setting my bag beside my chair as I take a seat, I pull out my phone to check for any missed messages and switch it to silent before placing it on the table before me. Hi, Surprised you're not in the art room. I don't live there, you know. Wouldn't it be more private than here, though? She lets out a long, miserable groan as her head sinks. Hardly difficult to work out what that means. Caprice wouldn't stop bugging me to join her drawing for some stupid theme. What was it? I wasn't really listening. Christmas scenes or something? She's barely even listening to me as she tries to wave me off. Caprice is probably scurrying around campus as we speak, hoping for me to join her as a drawing partner. What are you studying? Math. It's been kicking my ass, so I need to get my head around it for these stupid gen ed classes. Eileen barely lifts her head up from the notebook as she speaks. Looking over the table at her work, various practice equations cover the notebook's page. I have to admit, I do admire Eileen's drive. I was just going to pass some time in the library reading, but seeing her working away has made me feel a little guilty. You any good at this stuff? Math? Well, I ended up skipping the gen ed class thanks to my placement exam results. Someone spent their time studying like a good little teacher's pet. Nothing like that. Math and science are easy enough, so I ended up coasting along. I need to learn how to study now that I'm here. Eileen's eyes narrow. Maybe she wasn't exaggerating about her skills. After having such an easy time in high school, it's easy to forget I'm the odd one out here. Of course, I'd put my foot in my mouth just as I was starting to break the ice with her. I mean, if you want, I could have a look at your work. She's hardly enthusiastic, but shrugs and moves herself a little out of the way. My curiosity has gotten the better of me. Coming around the table and looking at the notebook from behind her, I take a gander at her notes so far. At least this is easy to read. Given her immaculate handwriting, the more I check over her notes, though, the more the corners of my mouth drag down. God, this looks like some integral calculus bullshit, probably. Yeah, I see some integral signs, probably. This looks like something you'd wrap around. Somewhere is the actual unfogged image, I know. She's done a good job of showing her process, and the first couple of questions covering expressions look right at a glance. When it comes to polynomials, however, the next two have odd leaps of logic, while the last meanders off into the world. Calculus, stupid calculus. Calculus is the real shit. Calculus is the same as Shakespeare, all right? Which is to say that both are good. I don't know. I always thought like differential and integral calculus were kind of fun. I never really did much more in math, and I guess I took multivariable calculus, but like, what was weird about electrical engineering math requirements was that they would make you learn how to manually do like a Fourier transform. And then they're like, you'll never do this. We only do fast Fourier transform. Oh yeah, differential equations seemed like it was interesting. I don't think I ever took a class with that. Passed the exams, but you didn't like it a lot. When it comes to polynomials, however, oh, that's right. Yeah, right. I realize I should say something to express how she's done so far, but the window of time to say something even mildly positive to soften the blow has long since passed. You only do slow Fourier transforms? Well, the big problem with fast Fourier transform is that it's abbreviated FFT. So I'm like, yeah, I love playing FFT. Fast Fourier transform, and then nerds beat me up. So it's like that, huh? You got some of it right. That didn't help. Polynomials do seem to trip a lot of people up. So she isn't catastrophically bad at this. Still, Considering this first semester of gen ed subjects is mostly reviewing what we did in high school, this isn't a promising start. Mind if I scribble on this a bit? Knock yourself out. I reach over to grab my pen from the other side of the table before hunching over her book and jotting down a couple of notes. Oh, it's the same image, but now there's red ink. I remember I would always do my homework in like either blue ink or black ink in college or in high school. And once in a while, someone I was working with would be like, PMC, why aren't you using pencil? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I said, I don't make mistakes. So. First up are a few pointers to where the first two polynomials went awry before taking a parallel crack at... Oh, well, no, that was part of the performance, all right? Moving the mic is part of the performance. Unlike the that band from the Battle of the Bands. One time in college, me and Fretzel did a campus Battle of the Bands, and the final act was like a real scene-stir rock band, and the vocalist thought he was cool, so cool that he would take the microphone and just start swinging it around on the cable, like with like a good like foot lead, right? So we're talking like a wide arc that this microphone is swinging on, and in the middle of a song, the microphone collided with the I think it was the guitar, like is there a guitar or bass? I think it was guitar. Collided with the head of a guitar and just snapped that sucker clean off. Just like, I mean, we're talking shredded. It was the third guitarist. Yeah, there was a bunch of people with instruments on the stage. They all looked the same to me. But like, yeah, it was shredded. They needed a new guitar. That guitar was done. See you later. Oh, first up are a few pointers, that's memory addresses, to where the first two polynomials went awry before taking a parallel crack at the worst of them. Pausing for a moment halfway to check the logic of what I'm doing, I'm satisfied I'm on the right track. As I finish it off, the result looks about right. Eileen flips over the textbook page on cue to check my answer, looking a little dubious as she does so. Vindicated by the matching result, I feel a good bit of relief at not making a fool of myself in front of her. Well, at least one of us has a head for this stuff. Does it make more sense to you now? She takes a thorough look at my scribbles on her notebook, eyebrows furrowed, as she tries to pick up the reasoning. I can't help but glance between my notes and Eileen as she looks over them. If she didn't project an aura of wanting to be left alone all the time, just her looks and her style would probably attract people. I think so. You don't sound too sure. This is about as confident as I ever get with math, so don't worry. I'll have to repay you sometime. Taking that as confirmation that my job is done, I return to my seat as Eileen leans back in her chair. It's nothing really. You should ask your professor though if you're not confident doing polynomials. Needing to ask them doesn't mean that I want to. Come on, Eileen. No, I have to imagine that at some point there was a Control F over the entire script, checking for any instances of "Come on, Eileen," and any instances were then removed from the script. That's my assumption. Given how frank she is, I guess this must be a matter of pride rather than shyness. Maybe that's where her stubbornness comes from. Why are you wasting your time here with me anyway? Don't you have some friends to do friend things with? I only really know you and Caprice. Met Wallace the other day, actually. So that brat was trying to drag him into the club too. Wallace may think it might be a good experience for her, but Eileen's disdain for Caprice is going to be hard to overcome. Hearing my phone vibrating on the table, I quickly pick it up to see who has messaged me. I quickly force myself to keep a poker face as the name comes into view. She must have given up on art out of loneliness if Eileen's avoiding her and I'm here. I'm not terribly hungry, but I should probably get at least a sandwich or something from the cafeteria before classes begin. Quickly typing in an agreement to meet her there, I lock the phone once more. I might go grab lunch. Want to come? Sorry, already ate. Thanks for the offer, though. She's already back to concentrating on her textbook as she mumbles the reply. It's probably for the best anyway. Giving a quiet farewell, I grab my bag and put my phone back inside. As I pull it over my shoulder, though, Eileen looks up. By the way, I don't blame you for any of the stuff Caprice is pushing. You seem all right. So I'm all right. Perhaps I should accept that as praise coming from her. Glad for our meeting having been somewhat successful, I wave goodbye and head out toward the cafeteria. The cafeteria is a little less full than the library, the stocks of food behind the counter already running low on all the usual student favorites. With the line for food moving quickly, I manage to grab the last set of sandwiches and move on. Scanning about, I notice Caprice sipping her juice, an empty tray before her. She sure eats fast. Glad for the company either way, I walk over and take a seat at her table. Hey, Allie. Long time no see. We saw each other yesterday. How's everything going? How are your classes? Not too bad. It's all familiar enough right now. Not that everyone's doing as well as I am. As I unpack my sandwich and begin to nibble, my thoughts turn to the woman in the library. I feel a little sorry for her. Eileen's struggle, reminding me that I have it easier than some at times. Then there's the matter of her in the club. Setting my food back down, I decide to tackle this more directly than usual. If Eileen can be so direct with others, then so can I. I was thinking, you meant for me to meet Eileen last week, didn't you? She's fun, isn't she? Something like that. That painting of the girl in the water was really pretty. She's really good, huh? No wonder the art club tried to grab her. About that, well, more about Eileen. I'm not sure it's a good idea to be forcing people into this club. I know you're excited to get things started, but just because her art's good doesn't mean she wants to be in a club. You sound like you're not really into it yourself. She's sharper than I give her credit for. Caught off guard, I have to stop and think as she sips at the last of her juice. The sucking sound as she makes sure to get every last drop doesn't help. Can't say that I'm enthusiastic about this. Eileen's studying is exactly what I need to be doing, lest I waste my scholarship. On the other hand, Caprice is my only friend right now, and I do enjoy spending time with her. As she puts down her drink with a satisfied breath, I know my answer. I can make time for it. She gives a comically big sigh, missing my hesitation entirely. If this ends up only being between a couple of us, maybe it won't be too bad. As long as it's not a whole bunch of people getting involved. I want to do this for her sake as well, you know. Eileen kind of looks lonely all by herself in that room. Huh. I hadn't considered that Caprice was coming at it from that angle. It makes me think a little better of her. What she says makes me reconsider Eileen's actions in another light as well. I wonder how much of her reluctance around this isn't due to Caprice herself, but rather her feeling used by the other club for her art. Seeing that kind of talent makes you envious though, right? Well, I just drew a bit in high school for fun. I don't think I could ever manage something beautiful like that. We keep chatting, but Caprice's earlier words stick firmly in my mind. We may meet every school day and talk quite a lot, at least she does. But I realize just how little I really know her in spite of that. Maybe spending more time together wouldn't be so bad after all. Nice transition. With time on my hands, thanks to the last class of the week finally being over, some quiet sketching would be a nice way to unwind. With that in mind, I make my way up to the art room. Studying would be the proper thing to do, but I'm just too burned out. Not that this stubborn cold helps either. While most classes are winding down, their professors aware that the looming holidays are a big distraction. Others have tried ramping up the workload to try and cover everything in their semester plans. I might be keeping up, but plenty aren't. With my bag tucked under my arm, I give a sigh as I stagger along the snowy path to the arts building. It would be nice to feel like I'm doing more than treading water in class and socially. Stepping into the arts building with its strung up decorations reminds me to look on the bright side. It's already the middle of November, so not long until Christmas and being back with my family. I'll be thankful to be back with them, even if the rest of the holiday period is a wash. I managed to angle around a chatting group of friends blocking the hallway and start up the stairs without bothering them. Another small success. I briefly wonder if Eileen's in the art room as I proceed along the second floor hallway. Her paintings are always nice to see, but whether she thinks of me as just another painting like she views Caprice weighs on my mind. Opening the door to the quiet room, I can't say I'm surprised at the sight before me. Of course she was going to be here. Eileen's eyes glance over as I gingerly shut the door behind me, ending up being the only acknowledgement of my presence at all before she goes right back to her work. Curiosity about what she's painting gets the better of me. Is it okay if I watch? Oh, gingerly is something. Actually, I think there was like one marathon where I said gingerly too much during a True Crime New York City. There was some marathon. I think might have been like an ESA where I kept saying gingerly and I really I overused it a bit much. Go ahead. All the Europeans were confused. It just sort of means doesn't it just mean like on pins and needles, basically? I think that's how I was using it. Gingerly, with great care or delicacy, cautiously. She doesn't bother to look at me as she says it, but doesn't sound reluctant either, so I scoot over and sit myself on a table as quietly as I can. Eileen's brush continues to flick to and fro as she works in the background. So, Caprice is a no-show? She said she had to go to do something with her roommates. Her shoulders slump as she sighs, relieved. Do you really hate her that much? Believe me, if I hated her, you would know. I'm just glad to have some quiet. It's hard not to take that as a thinly veiled implication that I should be quiet as well. Wallace might not be wrong that Eileen means well, but that doesn't make her any easier to talk to. Something on your mind? You're really good at this. It'd feel weird to say I've been talking about Eileen behind her back. What I said is true, though. I'm impressed she can carry on a conversation while working. And I like how her painting's turning out. Thanks. Been doing it for a while. As a hobby? If everything works out, hopefully as a career, artist or teacher, aiming for the latter. Oh, gingering a horse. Of course. God, don't you all have horses in Europe? Shaking my head. Watching GDQ, saw PMC live. Hop on. Don't know what I walked in. Glad you walked in. So, Xeon, what we're doing is obviously this is a visual novel. And Shiz here, Shizacular, is one of the developers for this. So I said, hey Shiz, when this game comes out, I'm gonna stream it, and that's what we're doing right now. This is visual novel, just came out. It's called First Snow. You can get it on Steam, on itch, direct download, and we're just checking it out. Yeah, I really like this. Is a really good scene. That does explain her persistence at working away to get better. Wanting to be a teacher, though, she gives me the feeling of a drill sergeant more than an art tutor. Tube's out. Drugs gone. Money too. Is this a female romance? So my understanding, from reading the Steam summary, is that yes, this is a girl's love story. Is there a correct genre name for this? I thought I saw the term girl's love on the Steam page, but not being familiar with manga and whatnot, I imagine there might be a technical genre name. Girl's love is accurate enough. Or Yuri. Okay, there you go. Okay, Yuri. See, this is really funny. Because you say Yuri, the first thing that pops into my head is Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 Yuri's Revenge, which is not related to this genre of fiction. Yuri Gagarin, that would be another one, yeah. Or Yuri Lowenthal, you know. Right. Yuri on Ice, which is hilariously yaoi. Eileen gets up and places her supplies on the sill beside her, opening the cupboard and fiddling around a bit. Before long, she emerges with a new tube of crimson paint in hand. Rather than get back to painting, after closing the door, though, she instead turns to me. So what about you? Sorry? What are you doing once you escape this place? Oh, I don't really know. Still trying to figure that out. I feel like I failed a test as I trail off, but Eileen doesn't seem worried. You're still young, and there's a good few courses to look into here. Just try your hand at whatever comes up until something grabs you. There are plenty of worse ways to spend your time in college. You're smart too, so you have that going for you. I awkwardly smile at the praise. I've never been good at knowing how to handle compliments. My ex is straight, but like yaoi. It's hard to understand how that... Well, see, here's the thing, though. Like, fantasy, like, how people relate to fictional works, and when I say fantasy, I don't mean, like, elves, goblins, whatever. I mean, like, literally fantasizing. Like, how that works doesn't necessarily have to be like what you're interested in like the immediate reality here and now. You know, I enjoy playing games with action and guns, but like, holy crap, I don't want to own a gun. No thanks. get it away. So I think that makes sense. I think people, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. The reason something like yaoi might resonate for your ex is any one of a number of things. Is it bad to fantasize about thighs? No. She may say that, but the fact Eileen's so set on a career yet only seems to be around my age rubs in my lack of direction. I'm still patting myself on the back for managing groceries. My parents always told me I could do whatever I set my mind to, but it was so easy to tread water for me that I never bothered trying to swim. Sounds like you have a nice family. I moved to respond. The memory of them gives me the familiar pang of homesickness all over again. I might have found time to call Mom yesterday, but it just isn't the same. You okay? Yeah, just I miss them. Well, everyone here is going through the same thing. You as well? I miss my sister, yeah. She's probably fine, but that doesn't make it easier. Mom and Dad too? To be honest, things have been easier between me and my folks since I moved out. Huh. It's hard to imagine being on such bad terms with my family that moving away was better. The best thing about Christmas will be the chance to see them again. But Eileen doesn't seem particularly fussed about it at all. Leaving me to ponder, Eileen goes back to her painting. I get the feeling she wouldn't be this gracious to Caprice. So she seems to think a little better of me at least. She's lent me an ear. Not boring you, am I? Which country is this story based in? It's US? Yeah, my guess was going to be US or Canada. Oh, it is? Oh, it is actually... Okay, so I guess that Twitter account is more in universe than I thought it was. Salty, salty games indeed. Man, I went to Salt Lake City once on business. I wish I had actually had the opportunity to do anything interesting. All the tech worker, like the tech colleagues and coworkers I was with, all had like ass taste. And so like instead of going anywhere cool, we would go to like the Cheesecake Factory. I was like, this sucks. I hate all of you. Apparently, one of my coworkers was actually like mad at me because he felt I was being tactless during the work trip, but like my coworker also knew that I was on the verge of quitting the company anyway. So it wasn't like he could do anything about it. Sucks to suck. No, not at all. I like watching you paint. She pauses a moment before continuing. It's only for a second, but I sense a hesitation there. Did I say something wrong? The moment passes as soon as it arrived. Eileen's brush returning to the canvas. The other students appear to have left by now, the orange-stained room, silent save for her work. The building's just a little cold, but that's fine. As the minutes roll by, I end up watching her for a while as I swing my legs. I almost forgot I came here to actually draw, but that doesn't matter. Watching her painting slowly progress is more than enough. Never had cheesecake. How does one describe? Well, first off, let me be clear about one thing. The restaurant chain called the Cheesecake Factory does have cheesecake, but rarely does anyone actually order cheesecake from the place. The Cheesecake Factory is like this nightmare. It has the worst menu I've ever seen in a restaurant. It's like literally everything wrong with America wrapped into a menu. No. I meant the Cheesecake Factory restaurant, like a chain. It's a chain restaurant. God, do I? Wait a second. Let me, Cheesecake Factory Twitter thread. Yeah, I'm trying to find that right now. Okay, all right. Here is someone made a Mashable article about it. This should help you understand the whole phenomenon. But basically, it has like easily the worst architectural style of any chain restaurant, and like that's saying something because typically chain restaurants are awful from an architectural standpoint. But like this is unique. It's an abomination. And the food isn't any better. So, enjoy that, I guess. As the minutes roll by, no, wait, I already read this. Every so often, she mixes up a dab of this paint and that on the wooden pallet beside her. The side of a hip is traced out, the light bouncing off a waist shaded or a flowing strand of hair detailed with the fine tip. I can't help but admire her ability to set a goal and stay true to it, knowing exactly what she's working toward at this stage of her life. If only I had an ounce of the ambition Eileen has. I might go to a cafe nearby to grab a coffee. I'll be back in a bit. Tired? Yeah, sorry to distract you from your work. The image, the way we got it for directing, did not have any layers. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, like, it's probably better than like Applebee's. Applebee's may be the most depressing restaurant of all time. But I don't think I've ever, what was it? I think it was like last summer. Me and Icy really wanted to have like a meal out for dinner for 4th of July, but like most of the usual places were closed. And so we ended up going to Applebee's, and it's like truly in every facet it was like the Enertron from Chrono Trigger, but a chain restaurant. Yeah, actually, so I haven't been to a Denny's in probably like 20 years. Here's the thing. I feel like those types of places, those chain restaurants that are trying to emulate a diner, and Denny's is one of them. Denny's is in that genre that's like more breakfast diner. I think those get off a little more scot-free. Those are a little more palatable. Right, yeah. They're like if it's the breakfast at any time places, those are good. I mean, that's also like a diner thing. Like diner, when I say diner, it's like a genre of restaurant, oftentimes open 24 hours. Breakfast is always available. New Jersey is especially fond of these, but I'm sure you could probably find them other places. God, now you're making me think about diners. Speaking of things I miss in the pandemic, being able to get like a diner breakfast. With that, I hop off the table and start toward the door. I can't have Scrapple right now, you know? Pho in my country can be eaten any time of day, which is a breakfast meal. Okay. I mean, pho is really good. And like you can have savory things for breakfast. Man, I wonder if anyone's done like a bacon pho. Probably, right? We can? Oh, I guess we can get right. Well, can we I guess there's probably a real diner. Look, Silver Diner is good. The chain restaurant Silver Diner is good. But it's not like a diner. But maybe if like another diner, which I'm not going to name, in our area has takeout, that would be good. Yeah, someone probably did it. I mean, I know like usually when I get pho, I usually like to get brisket pho. I find like brisket is a really, really good pho meat to do, but that's just me. I don't know. Oh yeah, I mean the thread was linked in the Mashable article, but that is also the thread itself. Oh, wait. Her voice stops me in my tracks just as I'm about to go. It'd be great if she decided to come as well. Could you grab me a coffee too? Espresso, straight? I'll give you some cash when you come back. So much for that. Used to get shrimp pho. That sounds pretty good too. Seafood pho would be honestly pretty good, I have to imagine. The cafeteria hums away as students talk amongst themselves, the room having mostly filled up by now. The thought briefly passes my mind that winter must be great for business, given this being the closest place for cheap food during bad weather. Some smears on the edges of the plate are all that remains of the mostly cooked pasta served today. What's left of my accompanying soda bubbling away while I pass some time browsing this site and that. As I read, a shadow suddenly looms over the side of the table. Looking up from my phone reveals a very familiar figure. Eileen peers down as she stands at the opposite side of the table, a large plate of food steaming away in her hand. The fresh pasta sauce is strong enough to smell from here. Okay to sit here? Sure. I quickly set my phone down as she takes a seat and arranges her tray on the table, happy that she would choose to sit with me. Yeah, fresh pasta sauce. That's something. A glance around to see if anyone's with her makes me realize why she probably chose to sit here. The cafeteria is practically full, and this is simply the nearest table with space available. About to take her first gulp of food, Eileen's fork halts mid-air before saying something. Cold any better? Yeah, clearing up now. Good to hear. With that, she starts on her pasta and salad. As I take my phone to browse some more and Eileen calmly eats the average at best cafeteria food, it feels as though there is no need to chat just to fill the air. That silence between us is becoming more comfortable. That is, before I get a message. Flicking away the browser app, I take a quick look. Can't make dinner, work sucks. Anything in the fridge? Seconds tick by as I wait for a response, a sense of concern starting to take over. Rose. Sorry. Rose. Work needs me. See you later. All I can do is sigh and slump down in my seat as I lay my phone on the table. One shall rose and one shall fall. Eileen looks at me in puzzlement, her fork hovering near her mouth. Bad news. Roommate forgot to do groceries. We're out of food. Can't you just grab a burger on the way home? That would be the plan. If I wasn't nearly through my allowance, I just look away and groan, not up to outright saying that I'm broke. It's that bad, huh? At first glance, she shrugs off as she goes back to eating, but she seems to actually be in thought after watching her a bit. Eventually, after finishing her food, she speaks up. I guess I was cooking some extra anyway. You can come over for dinner if you want. It's within walking distance. The suggestion's enough to make me bolt upright in an instant. What, to your place? Yeah, should be fine, right? You okay with stir fry? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Sure, whatever. Just don't make it weird. Considering the discussion over, Eileen goes back to finishing off her food without much concern for what she's just said. Maybe she does have a good side. Stopping before the large black door, I repeat the address Eileen gave me to reassure myself I've come to the right place. Eileen's definition of walkable is apparently rather different than mine. Still catching my breath from the hike. Oh, is pho considered by definition to usually be beef marrow? Yeah. Okay. I was curious about that because I know, like, did I just? Like one of my friends that I would used to get pho with a lot. She's a vegetarian, so she would always go out of her way to get the veggie stuff. But like it was clearly labeled on the menu, so like it makes sense that like typical or default pho would be beef broth. Stopping before the large black door, I repeat the address Eileen gave me to reassure myself I have come to the right place. Oh no, I did read that. I thought I was going to be fine, but my nerves are getting the better of me now that I'm here. I'm going into a near stranger's home after all, and it'll be just the two of us. In school, we just happen to be around each other, but this is entirely different. Glancing down the hall to make sure nobody's watching me awkwardly loiter around, I take a moment to appreciate how nice her apartment building is. This is a nice area, and everything inside is immaculate. Even the hallway carries a slight scent of cleaning products. Out of excuses to stall any longer, I take a breath and gingerly press the doorbell, its muffled chime ringing out from behind the door. I run my hands through my hair one more time. Run my hands through my hair one more time to make sure I look presentable as footsteps come to the door. So we've already had like discourse about gingerly, because apparently this was a term that was not familiar to the Europeans. Maybe it's just is it just America that knows this now, or what? The plain wooden door swings open, answered by not Eileen. Oh, evening. Before I can ask if I got the right apartment, he turns around. Allison's here. Walsh jerks his head around for me to follow. I obediently do so, still too confused to get a word out. Eileen didn't mention he would be here. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe I should just be relieved it's not just the two of us. You're Asian studying English not knowing it's kind of normal? Yeah, that's fair. Barely noticing the thud of the door closing behind me, I take a quick glance around her apartment as I place my coat on the counter. Yeah, that's basically it, cautiously. The first striking thing is how clean it is, with everything put neatly in its place. Then again, aside from a few paintings on the walls that are possibly her own, there's not much clutter around to clean up. Not my apartment. Okay, duly noted. I mean, the Brits don't know how to speak English, so. Then again, aside from a few paintings on the wall that are possibly her own, there's not much clutter. Oh yeah, the television, quite a decent size for a student, sits on a cable news channel. Riveting as the economic situation report is, it's barely audible over the clacking rice cooker coming from the kitchen. What do I think of the kitchen, though? I just feel like all I can see here is tripping hazard. Like I would spend my whole life tripping on this, especially like every time. If I was buzzed or anything, I'm tripping on that. I do like the counter height stool though. I'm a big fan of counter height seating. The island is okay. I'm kind of mixed on islands. Yeah, I guess if it's high enough, it depends. It depends like how much you would notice it. Maybe coming off like a completely different flooring material, you would notice it, but also, I'm not sure about this lighting fixture though. That lighting fixture is like waiting to become like a monster in a video game. That's like a snake that's on fire. As Wallace and I stride in. Yeah, who said it's not? Eileen comes to her feet after having been on the couch. She lazily covers a deep yawn with her hand as she does. Hi. So you managed to find the place. Welcome to my home, I guess. I'd introduce you to this guy as well, but it seems you two already know each other. Wallace and I exchange a brief glance. Just had a coffee together once. Well, I did find his size intimidating at first. He seems a bit of a gentle giant. Figure now that I'm around him more. Looks like this isn't going to be dinner for just me and Eileen then. That's what she thinks. Taking one last glance about, the inside of her place is as nice as the outside. From the meticulous cleanliness to the trendy furniture, her home looks more suited to a design magazine than a student's living area. Your apartment's really nice. Thanks. I'd like to try and keep things organized. Yeah, this is a pretty svelte place. The blackout blinds are pretty good. Visual novels aren't real though. They can hurt you. I don't know what's up with this pillow though. The pillow is not at home in this room. Especially when visitors are over. Eileen glares daggers at Wallace, but he doesn't pay any heed. The two seem to have a good handle on each other. The pillow came flying from a separate dimension. Moving on, Wallace, just watch TV or something while we get dinner sorted. Can do. Thanks again for letting me have dinner with you. Don't get too comfortable. I'm gonna make you work for your food. Eileen motions for me to come over with her, but the gesture was unnecessary given her commanding tone. Wallace gives a dreary glance as he follows his orders, and I quickly do the same. Yeah, Wallace was the roommate. Confirmed. Images are hand-drawn. Yeah, Shiz can probably tell you about that. It's true. I end up standing before a well-used wooden cutting board, taking the large knife Eileen offers before sizing up the variety of vegetables awaiting its blade. I don't think she notices my hesitation as she opens the rice cooker and gives the contents a stir. The two of us waste little time in getting to work, the sound of food being prepared filling the room. Unfortunately, it isn't long before I've earned Eileen's ire. Stop! My heart practically leaps out of my chest as I immediately freeze, hands retreating from the cutting board. Did I hand you a hatchet? No. Then why are you using that as one? Looks like you're trying to lop off some fingers. In response to my puzzled look, she takes the knife off me and starts demonstrating the correct technique herself. Thought you'd be more help in fixing this up. Look, curl your hand in next to where you want to cut like this. Now use the knife like a lever. Instead of wildly hacking away, we're making nice, slow slices, not some slasher B-movie scene. Yo, hey, Condor. Is it lever or lever? I keep going back and forth between lever and lever. Like a lever? Like a lever? I honestly... I don't know. Lever? I mean, I'll tell you this. It's kind of one of those things where you can do it either way. Really honest. Like, it might be a dialect thing, too. Leave her? I don't even know her. Right. I think I have it. Eileen hands the knife back, and after a breath to steady myself, I have another try. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I have Philadelphia vowels, so, like, some of my vowels are really lazy. Like, people always want me to say syrup, but, like, I have to, like, really, like, contort my mouth to make that noise. It's way easier just to say syrup. Way less work. Like, God, good grief, people. Like, chill out, you know? The Dutch delicacy of stroopwafels. Look, I'm gonna say it phonetically. Is it actually stroopwafels? I don't think I'm familiar with it, though. Well, it's like why I say orange instead of orange. Stroopwafel. Whatever. Dutch words aren't real, okay? And they can't hurt you. Just word optimization. She soon starts frowning as I slice away, but at least she's not yelling at me again. I mean, the one that I would always get on people's cases about was that we knew people in college. We knew at least one Erin and at least one Aaron. E-R-I-N and A-A-R-O-N. The two first names. And I would always insist that they were said differently. Aaron, like so that's Aaron. A-A-R-O-N, Aaron. And then there's E-R-I-N, which is Aaron. Completely different. Both vowel sounds said differently. Some people didn't like that. Also, this is a very good frame. I'm guessing you don't cook for yourself. Her eyes rest on the collection of lopsided shapes sitting before me. Oh, what is this? Oh?
I said, bottom accents say this phrase out loud. And earn.
Oh, Baltimore. Yeah, I feel like cities in like the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast in the US have a lot of really wild accents. Like each of like Boston and New York and Philadelphia. All our vowels are like very subtly screwed up. I'm lucky if I don't mess up instant noodles. I thought those were impossible to get wrong. I'm genuinely impressed. You do all your own cooking? Not like I have anyone else to cook for me. Healthier than living off pizza and burgers, too. Mario. What about Wallace? Aren't you roommates? Also, how she... I just noticed how Allison is holding the knife. No, he just loafs around here sometimes. I've tried to get him to help, but he's no better than you are. I'm always feeding him and letting him crash on my couch. He even bugs me for free pictures for his writing. She sets down her knife in genuine, if depressing, thought. Maybe we should just become roommates. think I'm starting to get a handle on their relationship now. As strange a pair as they might seem, the stern and uncompromising Eileen, gentle giant Wallace seem like they're a compatible couple. Let me tell you about the VN industry. It's so for exposure. I'm surprised you're not. I thought you might be together. Nope, just friends. So much for that. She waves away the idea so easily that it must have come up before. In fact, back at the cafe, Wallace seemed quick to clarify that too. Wow, writers are always whining about how they can't find free artists for their Grand Vienna. Ooh. Wallace's voice pipes up from behind us. You know, it's not often Eileen invites someone else over for dinner. I don't invite anyone over for dinner. You just show up most of the time. Including now, actually. I've had to put up with him like this since high school. I guess no one else would. Objection! I'm the one who puts up with you. I'm the one currently holding a knife. Objection withdrawn. With that, he goes back to quietly watching television. I'm starting to get how Eileen deals with others in general now. She simply has no filter when it comes to stating what she believes to be true. That can be a problem just as much as shyness, though. Thinking back to when we met, the only reason I didn't write the episode with her off is Caprice and Wallace nudging me afterwards. But here she is, looking after her friend and providing me with a meal. It took a while, but I'm glad I met her in the end. Perhaps that's why it's a little worrisome that she lives alone like this. You normally do all this without anyone to help? You don't need to say that like it's a bad thing. There's all sorts in the world. Some are better with people than others. Living alone suits me, and I can afford it. You know Caprice, though, don't you? So you're not completely alone besides Wallace. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Tell me, how did you and Caprice meet? Well, we were sitting at the same table for a biology lecture, and she started passing me notes during class out of the blue. Once we started talking afterwards, she didn't really stop. That's the way it goes with her. Once you get caught in her orbit, she doesn't let you go. Caprice isn't that bad. She's just a sweet person, high energy. She gives a non-committal grunt before getting on with her cooking. I do wish she'd give her a chance. Caprice does only mean the best for her. Moving away from that, could you grab the plates and glasses? These shouldn't take long to fry. Root beer, please. Water. Water is healthier. Allison, please save me from this woman. All I can do is give a weak smile. Much as I'd like to give him what he asked for, following Eileen's orders would probably be for the best. Woo! Okay. A little slide. With all of us well and surely full, we sit around the table and savor the meal we've had. It was the best food I've had in a while, since it was neither takeout nor cooked by Rose. Straight out of 1997. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've really played like just like a raw ass virtual novel before. Because I feel like anything I've played has still had like adventure game elements in it, which is not quite pure VN. Having sent a text message to her for a pickup, all that's left is to run down the clock as the evening wears on. Looking around the apartment, I point to one of the paintings on the wall. Did you paint all these? Yeah, really need to find something else to put up there though. But why? They're really good. I appreciate the thought. All of them have dumb little mistakes though. Just needed something to make the walls less bare when I moved in. They never got around to replacing them. You like painting people in particular, don't you? Just in the portraits and figures? Modern art's all well and good, but I started with a figure drawing and ended up attached to it. Bodies are pretty fascinating when you think about them. Like, really think about them, that is. I spent days just sitting there sketching, trying to work out how the muscles fit together, how lighting interacts with skin and all that. The way she rattles off her thoughts with such feeling gives away how much she cares about the subject. I can't say I take it quite as seriously as she does, but I can see where she's coming from. Sorry, I got distracted by something. Anyway. Our BGRO's first model is the environment 3D program, then issues a final, fairly bare render, paints over it. Okay. Right, but the lighting effects are inspired by a 3D render. Cool. The way she rattles off her thoughts with such feeling gives away how much she cares about the subject. I can't say I take it quite as seriously as she does, but I can see where she's coming from. Interested in this stuff, Allison? Me? I just drew a little in high school, passing the time, that kind of thing. Nothing wrong with that. I sketch on my tablet. I even give us pointers sometimes. Maybe I should throw you to the wolves and tell Caprice you like doing art as well. You wouldn't. I'm thinking about it. Can't help but giggle a bit at the two of them. Yet even as they do, there's a small pang of envy there. I can empathize with Eileen keeping her group of friends small, but I do wish I were closer to her, in more ways than one. She's who I wish I could be. The familiar sound of a motorbike's horn can be faintly heard from outside, bringing an end to both my thoughts and this little outing. That for you? Giving a nod, I get up from my chair and collect my coat from Eileen's helpful hand, quickly throwing it over myself. Thanks for tonight. It was nice. Not wanting to keep Rose waiting, I wave Wallace goodbye as I take my leave, with Eileen coming along to see me out at the door. Got everything with you? I quickly pat around my pockets to make sure. Phone, purse, keys. They all seem to be there. All good. I'll see you then. If you want to come around again, feel free. If I'm not too much trouble, that'd be nice. I do a poor job of hiding my happiness at the offer. My reply just a little too quick to sound natural. Believe me, you're in no trouble. It honestly does me good to see you a bit more upbeat. I tilt my head a little at the odd idea. You just seemed kind of skittish before, but now you're all sunshine and rainbows. Suits you. Chicken curry, spicy or not? I mean, I like spice. I'm a spicy person. I'm not like a practiced spicy person. Like I don't go into, an Indian restaurant and get maximum spice levels. I usually go for like medium spice levels. But I like it. I think it adds to the food. Not to mention, a bit homesick. Being able to talk with friends outside of school was a nice change, not to mention having a homemade meal. Even if I didn't help that much, it did take my mind off things. Eventually, As my mind slowly manages to get back into gear, I muster the words to say what I want to tell her as I get past being so flustered. And Icy is bullying Diego.
What?
Are you bullying Diego?
My phone
Oh, okay. Hey, Diego.
I was giving him kisses and hugs, and he was like, okay, let's get out of it.
Diego. Diego.
Diego, sit.
Ooh, he did it. What a good boy. Actually listening.
Good boy. He always listens to me.
I don't know about that.
When does he not listen to me?
When you're cleaning his ears.
That's not a command.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's less about listening to me and more about being brave.
If you don't mind me being around for dinner, maybe being together in a club wouldn't be so bad. She hesitates for a good few moments, making me doubt myself as I offer the suggestion as carefully as possible. She knows I like her as a person, so hopefully she can look past her previous experiences. Just as I begin to think I've overstepped the mark, she gives an almost comically long sigh. The horn sounds again in the distance as silence reigns, but my feet stay plastered as she comes to an answer. Fine. Tell Caprice she can have her dumb club. Thank you. Just don't make me regret it. With an enthusiastic nod and a wave, I start off down the hallway once more, Eileen disappearing into her apartment as I look back. Even as I walk down the hallway, my steps somehow feel lighter than they did as I entered. Being around others usually makes me exhausted, but right now, I feel more comfortable than ever. Wallace, it's nice to see you again. How's it going? I'm not joining this club thing, if that's what you're thinking. But word on the street was that pizza was involved. Besides, I don't think I can deal with the both of you without some backup. I'm not that much trouble, am I? Remind me who persuaded me into agreeing to this again? She's got a point. You're the last person who should be agreeing with her. Everyone inside must be thankful for the heat being turned up. Is this a diner? Not really. This is just like a normal... I would call this like a normal like pub restaurant, pretty much. I feel like brick pattern, the lighting. This is kind of a pubby kind of restaurant. It is definitely a place where you would get like nice pizza. Like this is like a nice pizza place. Probably some interesting ingredients offered. Everyone inside must be thankful for the heat being turned up. The weather outside having been freezing before we entered. There's a certain charm to the restaurant given its exposed aging brick walls and wooden furniture, however hard it may be. It takes a bit of speaking up for us to hear each other over the busily chatting couples and groups around us, but like Dad said, the more people at a restaurant, the better the food will be. I notice Eileen eyeing Wallace's beer in an unsubtle manner, the large glass perspiring away like in a commercial. I had taken his apparent age as just his beard making him look older, but I guess he really does have a few years on us. Oh wow, is Wallace the only one of age in this? That's how you know this is a this is a United States story. Drinking age 21. What a farce. Man, I miss beer. It'd go so well with this. Here I was thinking you were far too uptight to do something like underage drinking. Remember the trip to Europe me and my family took last year? You think I just drank soda over there? Well, I was in Munich, Wallace. I mean, really. Caprice and I can only smile at our little lecture. Don't be sad, Eileen. It's only a couple more years, then you can drink all you want. The look of pure and unrelenting disdain Eileen gives her at being reminded of the weight goes gleefully ignored. Which is probably for the best. Our chatter is interrupted by the arrival of a waiter, a weedy young man clad in a plain red and black uniform. It's impressive how well he maneuvers all our pizzas and sides onto the table, all our mouths watering as they steam away. Is that pineapple on a pizza there? Interesting. I wonder if there was a squabble over that. Could have been cause for alarm. With a curt please enjoy, he leaves us to our feast. Damn, they're fast here. Best pizza place in the city. How many have you actually tried? The entire team is of good taste. That's good to hear. Doesn't matter, since I've already tried this place, she says, busily shoving a slice of pizza into her mouth. Eileen starts on hers, but mine catches the eye of Wallace. Vegetarian? You're not a leaf eater, are you? He says this with genuine concern in his voice. I just like the taste. The answer satisfies him as he goes to work on his own. The fact it's a meat lover's pizza is less than surprising. Think you can take the wallet hit for tonight? No problem. Yeah, no problem. It's a little sad how obviously she's trying to convince herself of the fact. The only reason I'm not having a quick check myself is because I budgeted the trip days in advance. And even Wallace looks like he's doubting himself a little. Such is life of a struggling college student. Sure is. I really do need to get a job. You don't have one either? I'm planning to get one. And when will you? Soon. TM. Eileen just grimaces. She got me. How's working at the store, Wallace? Not exactly riveting, but it's a living. As I turn to Eileen, she just shrugs as she pulls out another slice. No job, and no excuse like studying. Guess I'm a slacker like Caprice. Given her apartment, it's a surprise that she could afford to live in that area and pay her tuition at the same time. I have to admit, I am envious of how she seems to have her life together. I've never met someone so independent, yet doing such a good job at it. Wallace momentarily bringing his phone up to check the time spurs Caprice into action. Her twisting about in her seat and fussing about with her coat draped over the back takes everyone's attention. Caprice. She finally writes herself after a few moments, her own phone proudly in hand. Let's exchange phone numbers. As a club, we have to stay in contact. I quickly turn to grab my phone while Caprice tries to talk a very reluctant Wallace into going along with her plan. His dreary look makes me feel a little sorry for him, especially as he cracks and gives up. At least she and I are already sorted. It wasn't long after we met that Caprice asked to exchange contact details with me. I take my phone in hand and look to Eileen instead, who looks up from eating with little interest. Don't want to? She shrugs. I feel myself deflate a little from the excitement of earlier, having overestimated how close we managed to become. I don't really use it much. Reading the room as she glances about, she reluctantly pulls out an ancient-looking flip phone. I can't help but stare in stunned silence at such a relic. It's not that weird, is it? I just never had a use for a fancy one. It's definitely weird. I was going to try to get everyone in this group messaging app, too. But what's wrong with calling? You know that thing phones were made for? thoughts I had of possibly messaging Eileen start to vanish. I can't imagine her actually wanting to text anyone with that thing, and even the idea of calling somebody fills me with anxiety. As for Eileen, I think I might have inadvertently disappointed her by not tempering Caprice's reaction. With a quiet falling over the table, we end up concentrating on our cooling pizza rather than our phones. So, I was right? Best pizza place? At least Caprice's endless enthusiasm and bright nature come in useful sometimes, the mood instantly lifting. You were right. Wallace gives a thumbs up as he tries to grab some cheese coming off the slice he's working on. They don't skimp on the toppings, do they? All right, listen up, everyone. My first executive decision as club president. Coming here. It's now a regular event. Don't try your luck. You've got my art room and a warm body for the numbers you needed. That's it. So cold. I'll come here with you, don't worry. See, Allison's a true friend. She slips her arm around mine and pulls us together tightly. Not knowing how I should react, I end up nervously smiling while feeling myself flushing from the contact. I guess I'm just happy to hear her call me a friend. At least you've got Caprice with you as company during the day, for better or worse. Come on, Eileen. I called that shot like 2 hours ago, I think. Come on, Eileen. You're not jealous, are you? You and I can hang out at the club all the time now, too. Yeah, I guess come on, CMON. Evaded the control F. Are you trying to make me reconsider it? Oh, do I have to explain this joke? Shit, I have to explain this joke. I love how this like visual novel is causing me to bring up so many US specific things, which is very interesting to me. But basically there is a song from the 80s. Come on, Eileen. It's a big song. I don't know. Is Come On Eileen the one that the Boston Red Sox fans sing? Or is that a different one?
Caroline.
That's Caroline. Sweet Caroline. All right, it's a different one.
People sing Come On Eileen all the time.
Right, people sing like it's like a big like party thing. Like it's like you'll be like a I don't know, like a event or and people will like, come on Eileen, to the right. Was it or something? I forget the yeah. It's like a big thing. It's a party song. And then like starts speeding up and it's just a thing. Caprice satisfies herself with pouting as she takes a big bite from her pizza. I mean, the song's still popular. It wasn't just the 80s.
But I didn't know about it until I watched I Love the 80s on VH1.
Did you not go to like any high school dances or anything?
My high school didn't play Come On Eileen.
Really?
No.
Oh, all right.
We played like It's Getting Hot.
Caprice satisfies herself with pouting as she takes a big bite from her pizza. Eileen might have agreed to the club, but I do wonder if the two will ever really get along. It's probably for the best that I'll be around to mediate. Glad things turned out this way in the end. Something about Eileen feels different from my high school friends or Caprice. Every time we become a little closer feels like a small victory. What about weddings? Maybe you've gone to weddings?
No.
They play old songs at weddings.
I've never heard anyone play Come On.
All right, whatever, fine.
At a wedding.
I mean, they've played Thriller at weddings. Like wedding DJs have poor taste. It's known.
I have not.
Fretzel's heard it at weddings.
Wow, I haven't been to a lot of weddings.
All right.
None of my friends have that.
As Caprice grins at me, I realize that I'm smiling widely. I guess things really did turn out well. Hey, Eileen. Yes. How do you say cheers in Germany? Usually Prost. Why? Is that Prost? I'm supposed to say Prost. She looks suspicious until Caprice raises her glass of lemonade. The other side of the table groans loudly, but I've already begun to lift my glass in preparation. Now left awkwardly dangling in it. Oh, now left awkwardly dangling it midair. That makes sense. Okay. I'm sorry. I think it might have awfully dangling it. Like, I think that also works. It's like a less common phrasing, but I think it should be fine. Also, I just want you to know, like right now, I'm really distracted because I have TweetDeck behind the game window, and a lot of people on Twitter are discovering right now that Gootecks is actually kind of shitty. So it's very, very funny. But anyway, it's very PogChamp. By PogChamp, I mean very not PogChamp. Yeah, it turns out Gootecks not great. But people are learning this. It's going viral right now. Come on. This is a celebration, right? Wallace, help me out here. Playing the Switzerland card. I'm not even in the club, remember? When your PogChamp is ruined, it's SogChamp? ClogChamp? You're still here celebrating, though. Allison's in for it. Yeah, go BlogChamp about it. Well, that's one way to drag me into this. All I can do is awkwardly smile an apology as the others grimace. I mean, maybe we should have expected this. It was clockwork, like CogChamp. While they might hesitate to follow our diminutive new leader, Wallace and Eileen begrudgingly lift their glasses in solidarity with me. Even if her enthusiasm might not be matched, there is some sense of camaraderie between us all. As I raise my glass, I realize that a familiar feeling is no longer weighing me down. For the first time in a long while, I don't feel the unease of loneliness. Oh yeah, shout outs to the dog champ. That's you, Diego. All right, he's laying down, but he appreciates it. In the end, maybe that's enough for me to toast this new club and the friends in it. To our new art club, Prost. Yeah, that dude's got a real pint of beer. Achievement unlocked. Falling snow. Act 2. Falling snow. Car breakdown. All right, I think that's going to make the perfect moment probably to cut stream then at the beginning of the scene. I assume if I just exit out, is it like auto? Oh, save game. Here we go. Save game. Boop. All right, cool. The save system. It works. But yeah, this has been fun. I'll have to figure out how I want to schedule this with Scarface and getting completed. But should be good. Spent so much time fixing UI bugs. Well, oh, take a look. Okay, I will do that. All right, so we saved the game, so that's fine. Main menu. Well, there is no, actually, JK, joke's on you. There is no unsaved progress because I saved it. Extras. Okay, look at this menu. Oh my god. Oh, okay. So now we see how long it is. Okay. All right, so we got a structure in 3 acts. Well, I never. Okay. So, gallery. Oh, look at these. Big. Yeah, look at that. Big energy. What does CG stand for? I should have asked earlier because you've been using the shorthand. Is it just like I don't know, like comic graphic or something? Guest star. Ooh, yo, achievement unlocked. Special guest. It just means, oh, computer graphics. Okay. Rose. She's a vampire, an actual vampire. Refers to any kind of special event art. Oh, okay. So yeah, I see now. Okay, so is all the where you have like people pictured doing something in particular. Thinking about that cake. Ooh, it's animated. Shades. Cool. Jukebox. Oh, we got all the track names. All right. Well, you got back just in time. So I think that is probably, yeah, this is all cool. Good UI. You like to see it. You love to see it. Let me go find someone to raid. Thank you all for watching. We'll probably finish this at some point. I have to figure out what my schedule